Hi, I'm Doyle Bishop with Tulsa Heaters Midstream, and today I want to talk to you about an exciting topic of expansion drums. Of course, expansion drums are used with heat medium systems or hot oil systems, which is a closed loop system. And I've done some sketching behind me that we'll kind of go through, and let's just talk about expansion drums and how exciting they are. So let's look at the overall system. Like I said, it's a closed loop system, so you have hot oil or heat medium that just constantly does this, goes round and round. You add heat here in the heater, and then you lose heat here in the user, and it just keeps going around. So here you're really hot. Let's say you're maybe 400 degrees hot, and then coming out of the user, because you're losing heat, maybe you're 300 degrees here. Okay. That's typical. So that means that normally you're 300 degrees here. And this big guy, this is the expansion drum. So why do you need an expansion drum? Obviously for expansion reasons. So when you have a system, you buy a system, initially it's shipped to you, it's empty. Your first order of business is, hey, I've got to fill this up. I've got to put heat medium in it. And so normally you have some vents, and normally they're high elevation vents. And you would open one of these guys up, and then you'd back your tanker truck up here, right? And then you'd start filling this guy up with fluid. So you would fill it up. Typically we say we fill it up to the 25% level on the expansion drum. And when you're filling it up, at that point, normally you're at ambient temperatures. Maybe you're at, let's say, it's a cold day and you're at 40 degrees F. So you fill the entire system up with 40 degrees F fluid. So you know that 40 degrees F fluid is going to be denser than 300 degrees F and definitely denser than 400 degrees F. Because when that fluid does get heated, it wants to grow a little bit. And with this being closed loop, you need some space for it to grow. So an expansion drum acts like a giant spring. So the gas above that expansion drum gets compressed as the liquid flows. So if I'm filling it up with 40-degree temperature, and I know in the future I'm going to be, let's say, an average of 350, what I would want to do is take the conservative approach and say, okay, we know it's normally going to be an average of 350, but worst case, I could have a situation where the entire system was at 400 degrees. So this is your high point that you use to design how much space you need for growth. So what you would want to do is you size this expansion drum so that you start at 25% at, let's say, 40 degrees or whatever minimum you want to think that you would have in the filling process, and then you go up to 75% full at 400 degrees. So you're thinking, well, okay, I still got a bunch of space here. It's just for safety reasons. I mean, as an engineer, I always like to say, you never get fired because you made something a little bit too big, but you do get fired when you make something too small. So you always want to give yourself a little factor of safety when you're calculating. And so we like to be between 25 and 75. So this level is going to be doing that. If it's really cold, you turn the system down, it goes back to 25, you heat it up, it raises itself up.